Good evening, everybody. My name is Jairo Marshall, and welcome to World History. First thing I want to do is thank all of you guys for taking the time to view this video. I definitely appreciate it. Next, I want to go ahead and thank you in advance for your support throughout virtual learning. Although this school year will definitely look like one we've never seen before, and there will definitely be some bumps in the road, as long as we work together and remain supportive of one another, we can definitely get through this. And I still remain committed to providing your child with the best education possible throughout these challenging times. Before I start, let me go ahead and give a bit of background information about myself. First, I got my degree from NAU. Hopefully, we have some fellow lumberjacks out there or some future lumberjacks out there. And I got my degree in education with an emphasis in history and social studies. I come from a family of educators. Both my parents were teachers. My sister is a teacher. My brother in law is a special ed teacher. And my daughter, who's only 5, I'm sure she'll be a teacher one day as well. This is my 14th year teaching, currently my 5th year here at Thunderbird High School, and I taught 9 years before this at a middle school. I've coached basketball for 9 years, and I'm also a former athletic director. To start introducing the class, pretty much our class and every class in general uses Webex. That's just an online platform to help distribute meetings. As you guys can see from the link, that's the link that the students attend for the meeting every single day. Students are required to check in at the start of class through Webex and at the end of class. Attendance is taken at both check-in times, and it is mandatory. Ideally, if they can show up about a few minutes before the actual meeting starts, that's the best way to ensure their attendance and that they're on time. Although obviously using WebEx is not ideal and it doesn't make up for not being in person, it's definitely the safest route to go, and it still gives a sense of normalcy. Students are still able to see their peers throughout the bottom of their screen. They can also interact with their peers and interact with their teachers. So again, it still kind of gives them that sense of being in a real classroom. Next, a bit about the class. Again, being a world history class, we have a lot of material to cover. And with our new schedule, being block schedules, we're basically going to take a year's worth of curriculum and we're going to condense that to one semester. So again, we have a lot of material to get through. We have a lot of different ways to basically get through that material. For example, all the different apps we'll be using. Google Classroom, of course, is going to be the biggest one. Pear Deck, Quizzes, Kahoot, ThingLink, you name it. We have all these different apps that we're going to be utilizing throughout the semester to help engage students. Topic-wise, here's some topics that we're going to cover throughout the semester. We just finished up a unit on geography. Next, we're going to focus on world religions, then make our way towards ancient Greece and ancient Rome, talk about the French Revolution, the Latin American revolutions, World War I, World War II, you name it. So we have thousands of years to get through and not a whole lot of time, but we'll do our best. Next, of course, grading. Everything, and I want to stress this, everything this semester is for a grade. So every assignment that is given to students, they need to get turned in because it is for a grade. So that's the most important thing to remember and keep in mind. As you guys can see from the grading scale, tests and quizzes are the biggest part of their grade. That's 50%. Students will always know in advance when a test or quiz is given. That way they have time to prepare for it. The next part of the grade will be homework and class assignments. That's going to be 30% of the grade. So basically everything we do during our class block, that will be graded and entered for 30%. And then the last portion is the final exam and PBA, the performance-based assessment. That's 20% of the grade. The PBA is basically a district-issued writing assessment that's given for all students. Expectations. Although we are virtual, students are still expected to abide by all school rules. And of course, the biggest rule is respect. We're definitely living through a different time right now, that's for sure. So the biggest thing is being respectful and open-minded towards everyone's differences. We're not always going to agree on things. We're not always going to have the same opinion on things, and that's perfectly fine. But we want to learn how to just disagree respectfully in a respectful manner. So that's going to be the biggest goal this school semester or school year, is just being respectful. Of course, arriving to meetings on time, like I mentioned previously, having all those assignments ready to turn in and complete. performing to the best of our ability with everything that we do. And again, as I stressed before, just having that open mind and positive attitude. Assignment completion. Again, everything is counted for a grade this time, so it's extremely important that all students finish up any assignment that's given in classroom. If they need extra time, that is available, but they just have to make communication with me ahead of time. Office hours. Again, they have Monday enrichment, where they can make up any work they have missing, or they can also contact me during my office hours, which is anytime during the school day. Homework. Again, being that we have so much on our plate, ideally, students will finish up the assignment during the class block. They're not going to be given an assignment for homework to do, so to speak. They'll always have time within class to get it finished up. If they don't finish it up during class, then it becomes homework, and then it becomes their responsibility to ensure it gets turned in. Again, any big due dates, they'll always be notified in advance. Absence policy. Again, we're going through challenging times. We all know that. So if a student is going to be absent, as long as they email me ahead of time, I'll be sure to get the work to them ahead of time as well. And again, I can't stress enough just how important it is for students to always be checking their Google Classroom and their student email. Because we're not face to face with our students, that's our only way to contact them is through Classroom and through email. So they need to be checking their email and Google Classroom on a very frequent basis. Test corrections. Again, with tests and quizzes being 50% of their grade, it's extremely important that they do well on these tests and quizzes. If they don't do as well as they anticipate, they are allowed to correct or retake the test in order to improve their score. They have to do so within 5 days of the original test date. Whatever is the highest score of the two, that will be the grade that is entered into the gradebook. So definitely a great opportunity to take advantage of. And that about wrap things up on my end about the class. So if at any point in time you have any questions in regards to myself or the class in general, please feel free and reach out to me at any point in time. Once again, I thank you for your support. I thank you for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the evening.